Hey there, and welcome to This Explainer. I'm absolutely thrilled to have you with us today because we're going to dive into a massive paradigm shift that is literally redefining the world as we know it. For over a century, a car's value was all about its mechanics, right? The displacement of the engine, the precision of the gears, the complexity of the pistons. But that era, it's basically over. Today, we're witnessing this radical transition from purely mechanical engines to incredibly intelligent computers on wheels.
So, here's our quick roadmap for today. First up, the computer on wheels. Then, getting better with age. Third, the global software race. Fourth, the invisible car of 2036. And finally, wrapping up. Okay, let's jump right into Section 1, the computer on wheels. To really grasp the magnitude of this shift, we kind of need to frame it around a tech leap we've all already experienced right in our pockets. Think about your current smartphone for a second. When a new software update drops, you download it, and suddenly your camera takes way better low-light photos, or your battery life magically extends. You didn't go out and buy a new phone, the software just optimized the hardware you already had. Now I want you to ask yourself, what if your car did exactly that? What if the vehicle sitting in your driveway right now actually got better, faster, and more efficient months or even years after you bought it?
Well, that brilliantly illustrates the concept of the software-defined vehicle, or SDV. We're essentially looking at a centralized computer on wheels. The software now manages the entire ecosystem, everything from motor efficiency and driving dynamics all the way to safety protocols. Because the car lives in the cloud, it actually evolves through continuous digital updates. So the really crucial takeaway here is this. The exact moment you drive an SDV off the lot, it doesn't start slowly dying or becoming obsolete. No way. That day is literally just version 1.0 of a product that's specifically designed to stay perpetually young and grow way more capable over time.
Which brings us nicely to Section 2, getting better with age. Consider this pretty stark contrast. Traditional cars, they're fundamentally depreciating assets. They're hardware fixed, they're offline, and they're totally static. When something goes wrong, you're dealing with physical recalls and manually dragging it to the mechanic. But SDVs are perpetually young. Because they're connected to the cloud, they use over-the-air or OTA updates. Manufacturers can remotely diagnose problems, totally refine your driving dynamics, or even shorten your braking distance without you ever having to leave your couch. You're literally just downloading a better car.
Now, the architecture making all this possible is honestly fascinating. Historically, cars had hundreds of independent, totally siloed computers, all connected by miles and miles of heavy copper wiring. SDVs replace all of that mess with a centralized zonal architecture. Just a few incredibly powerful brains control the whole car, which massively slashes physical weight and complexity. And sitting right on top of this architecture is your AI copilot. It creates a pro-actor experience. It learns your daily routines, it syncs with your calendar, it even suggests climate settings before you even have to ask. Plus, it uses predictive energy management. It actually talks to the cloud to check the topography and traffic of your specific route so it can precondition the battery for ultra-fast charging. It synthesizes data from solid-state LiDAR and 8K cameras to make split-second safety decisions way faster than human reflexes ever could. It essentially takes the cognitive load entirely off you, the driver.
Let's move on to Section 3, the global software race. Because this shift is just so monumental, automakers are no longer competing on horsepower, they are straight up competing on code. Across the globe, different regions are uniquely adapting to this massive paradigm shift. We've got the tech-first pioneers, the massive European legacy brands trying to navigate their transition, and then this incredibly fast-paced, mobile-first market over in India. Let's break these down a bit to see how they're uniquely approaching the exact same future.
First up, the architects and innovators. Tesla really pioneered vertical integration here, designing the hardware and software in tandem so the car can predictively manage battery thermals perfectly. Then you have BMW, with their Neue Klasse, transitioning to this stunning four-brain architecture. It reduces latency and allows for incredibly deep physical updates to how the car behaves. Hyundai is leading quietly but massively, with 800-volt systems that use super sophisticated software to manage ultra-fast charging better than almost anyone else out there. Then you've got ecosystem innovators like Xiaomi. They treat the car as basically just another node in your smart home to ensure total continuity with your phone. I mean, if you own a Xiaomi smart home, changing car brands means losing your whole ecosystem. And Mercedes-Benz is turning their MBUX platform into a proactive assistant that learns your specific habits to drastically automate comfort and take the stress right out of driving.
Meanwhile, Europe's legacy brands are facing an entirely different challenge. They have these massive, established industrial structures, but they aren't failing. They're actually adapting through some brilliant agile partnerships.
Volkswagen, for example, realized they couldn't do it all in-house, so they partnered up with agile experts like XPeng in China and Rivian in the West to integrate advanced architectures rapidly. Stellantis is rolling out the STLA Brain. That's a unified operating system across all its diverse brands, from Jeep to Fiat, allowing them to scale updates across millions of cars all at once. And Renault? They actually spun off Ampere, which operates basically like a startup. By using Android Automotive, they've managed to cut their vehicle development cycles down to just 2 years. It's truly amazing to see that level of speed combined with their legendary mass production quality.
Now, looking at the Indian market, we see a staggering data point. An incredible 95% of consumers are willing to pay for advanced software features like AI diagnostics and safety upgrades. 95%. That immense consumer readiness is driving a totally unique, intensely fast-paced local market.
Indian manufacturers are totally leveraging this demand, along with their status as a massive global IT hub, to innovate differently. Brands like Mahindra are partnering with global tech players to build rapid SDV platforms loaded with apps right on day one. Ather Energy is doing this for electric scooters. They provide constant over-the-air updates that actually learn riding styles, bringing Tesla-like software to two-wheelers, which is absolutely fantastic. The focus here isn't just on pure high-end luxury, it's all about mobile-first utility. They're designing clean, highly efficient interfaces that don't need incredibly expensive hardware to run smoothly. It's all about practical innovation, aftermarket longevity, and bringing real mass connectivity to everyday drivers in demanding environments.
All right, moving into Section 4, the invisible car of 2036.
So what happens when we project all this incredible innovation 10 years into the future? Well, by 2036, the technical complexity of the vehicle becomes completely invisible. It just fades seamlessly into the background of our lives. First off, solid-state batteries will become the absolute standard. They're lighter, they're safer, and they offer staggering ranges of 800 to 1,000 kilometers on a single charge. Add in wireless induction charging in parking spots and right on the highways, and literally plugging in a car will feel like using a rotary phone. Second, we hit level 4 and 5 autonomy. At that point, manual driving basically becomes a niche leisure activity. And third, because of that autonomy, the cabin completely transforms into what we call a third space. It's no longer just a driver's seat. Imagine a mobile office, an entertainment lounge, or even a place to catch some sleep, while the software handles door-to-door navigation with near-zero accident probability.
And honestly, perhaps the most mind-blowing shift is vehicle-to-grid or V2G economics. Your car fundamentally transforms into a mobile power bank. When it's just parked in your garage, it can actually return stored energy right back to your home, or even back to the city grid during peak demand times. Your car literally stops being a drain on your wallet and becomes an active economic asset that lowers your home energy bills. How wild is that?
And that brings us to Section 5, wrapping up.
Let's just quickly summarize this incredible journey we've been on. Today, we've explored the complete paradigm shift from mechanical engines to cloud-connected companions. We started with that smartphone metaphor, right? Understanding how cars today are essentially just version 1.0 when you buy them, fully capable of getting perpetually better. We traveled the globe, from Tesla and BMW's incredible architectures to Europe's agile legacy partnerships and India's massive mobile-first software boom. And we ended up looking into the invisible, autonomous, and totally wireless future of 2036.
I really want to leave you with this specific thought from the source material. It says, "The car becomes more than a machine. It becomes a companion that stays perpetually young through the power of the cloud." You see, while the underlying architecture, the zonal controls, the AI algorithms, the 800-volt systems is undeniably complex, its ultimate purpose is profound simplicity. It's designed to take the actual work out of driving, to protect us with superhuman sensors, and to seamlessly integrate our digital lives right into our physical ones. As we wrap up this explainer on the future of mobility, I want to take a moment to directly thank you, our focused learners, for tuning in today. We designed this specific explainer to really break down a deeply complex technological shift into clear, visual, and accessible concepts. Your passion for efficient, direct learning is exactly what makes these explainers possible, and I truly, truly appreciate you joining me on this journey.
So I'll leave you with one final, kind of provocative question to ponder. When your vehicle becomes a self-driving, money-making power plant that syncs perfectly with your smart home and gets smarter every single day, will it really still be accurate to just call it a car? Think about it. Until next time, keep learning.